Good evening, everybody. It is myself and comics with my guest, Liana.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hello. I
Everybody's
hope
just going,
every
what? Leanna's streaming on a Friday? The wonders of Restream.
right. You can stream whenever, and plus,
Yeah.
your Fridays are usually very packed.
Well, Fridays I try, well, it's early enough, but I try to take the Sabbath off. It never works, but I try. I try to do less. I try to at least like sit and chill on Friday nights because it's the only way I ever really chill. Okay.
I just saw your recent video saying that you worked like 14 hours.
Oh, this week was insane because I do these like freelance contract things and they come up when they come up, and so one of them came up and it was like, but it's always yesterday that they want deadlines and things like that. So always fun. How about you? Working hard?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just I always feel like I feel like how does it feel to not work anymore?
Oh, I well, you know what? They do say, some studies say that you need a certain amount of stress in your life. You need not too much stress, but people with no responsibilities have poorer outcomes. So that's what I tell myself when I'm busy.
I don't want more stress. I don't want good stress. I don't want bad stress. I don't want stress.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes,
So,
we just started here, guys.
yes, we just started. So, I wanted to do this thing where I am pinning messages. I only could do one at a time though, so that's fine. So, I'm going to be pinning Liana K's coffee, however you
Coffee.
drink it.
Coffee.
So, usually these are for her Wellness Wednesdays, or not her Wellness Wednesdays.
The
Her
the Leanna Care sessions.
care
I know
sessions. Thank
I
you.
have so many things on the go. It's confusing. Like, where in the world is Leanna this week? But yeah, it's for the donating sessions, Leanna Care sessions, which are one-on-one offshoots of the Wellness Wednesdays content. And some people need somebody to talk to. They can't afford it. And so people have been super generous and donating sessions, and it's really helped a lot. I've got 3 people every week that use it. I'd love to do more, but I'm still trying to figure out how to take on new people. That was a question, a feedback question this week. How should I do that? Because yeah, people take free for granted. So we're trying to find healthy gatekeeping.
You're new. You don't count. Get out of here.
Well, see, I'm trying not to do that, but at the
Kick.
same time, it's like, are you gonna, you know, are you gonna take this seriously? Or I just started watching Arcane this week, and so it's kind of warped my mind as well. Have you seen that?
Yeah, me and Tristan did a review on it. How
Oh,
far are you? The
uh,
first three, the second three, or the last three?
I am in the second three right now.
Woo! So
So
exciting.
yeah, I'm loving it,
I
but
think it took about start to get used to the show.
oh, real, I loved it right away.
Oh, I did too.
I thought it
It took
was
her a while.
I thought it was so awesome. Yeah, what something's going on with thumbnails on my social media services. I don't know what's going on. At least on Twitch, there I have thumbnail problems.
I have no idea. My thumbnail was kind of weird because the locked most of the words of meme, and I'm like, dang it, you ruined my meme.
Oh,
I worked
okay.
so hard on it.
Because somebody was saying on Twitch the other day, Doom Eternal was displaying when I was playing Horizon Forbidden West. It's like, I haven't
What the
played
heck?
Doom Eternal on Twitch in years. It was so weird. Internet just barfing.
Ew.
Yeah, it was
Awesome.
weird.
So we should get started. Well, I
Yeah.
want to say, should we do the fun part last?
I think it's all gonna be fun.
You're right. It's all going to be fun. So let's start with the best fun, the Golden Girls.
Yeah, thank you for being a friend.
Yes.
Thank you for being a friend. So did you start watching the show because I went crazy about it like all the time?
It wasn't just you who was crazy about it. A lot of people did talk about it, and I was doing something. I was researching one of the stars, and
Yeah.
I looked on a Wikipedia, and then it said something about a chronic illness episode, and I'm like, wait, I gotta find that episode because I would do this thing like, okay, what show or movie talked about a chronic illness but actually does it well? And season 5 was what popped up, which is part 1 and 2.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, okay, let me try to watch it. Then the first one ended, and I'm just crying my eyes out. And then I'm watching the second part, and I'm crying even more. And I'm like, this is such a good show. I love Dorothy.
Dorothy is. I'm glad you love Dorothy. It takes a certain type of person to love Dorothy. I love Dorothy, and then I found out like there are all these Dorothy haters out there, and I'm like, what? Go
But what's
away.
wrong with Dorothy?
Well, because she's acerbic, right? It's B. Arthur doing that Maud type character, and some people don't. Some people don't understand that actors act, and they tried to start all this stuff suggesting that her and Betty White had this beef, and it was always really overdone. They just had very different processes and different ways of doing things, but they had regard for each other. I mean, there's a happy medium between being best friends off camera and working well together and being friendly but not friends, right? But unless people are besties, they hate each other. And even after B. Arthur's death, those rumors persisted. And no matter how many times various cast members were like, no, it wasn't like that. Um, people love drama, so they just kept it going.
Oh my gosh. So was it like a Game of Thrones thing where everybody started hating that kid actor?
Oh, the guy who played Joffrey.
Yes.
I
I don't
don't
know
get
the
that.
names.
I don't get that. He's a teenager. I don't understand. We've been on streams together long enough. I don't understand why people do things. People
I
completely
never
baffle
understand.
me. I just stay in my little bubble and talk about nerdy things because trying to understand the average human just hurts. But yeah, I'm so glad you like Golden Girls because it was so ahead of its time. In the topics they covered. I mean, certain you probably hit certain lines where it's like, oh, that didn't age well, but they're surprisingly rare for a show from the mid to late 80s, right?
Uh, is it like calling Blanche a slut a lot?
There's a lot of calling Blanche a slut. It's interesting because in some ways that did not have the punch it does now. Um, just because general insults of like friendly insults were Dr. Soup, um, it was taken differently, but yeah, a lot of calling Blanche a slut, some ethnic humor, like references to people's religion and stuff like that.
You
Um,
Italians.
Italians and Jews and all that stuff. That's just more how tastes have changed. It's it holds up surprisingly well, and there's a lot of famous actors who are very famous now who show up in early roles, like George Clooney. Did you see the one with
Yeah.
George, like a really young George Clooney?
It took me a while.
Yeah, because you're sitting there
I was
going,
like, wait, everybody's cheering. And I'm like, oh, no way. It's
yeah, like
Batman.
he sort of sounds not the same, and he kind of looks the same. But talk about a guy who sort of grew into his looks, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just watched that episode with the black woman, literally just today.
And
I
that's still relevant, sadly.
Hey Robert, hey Shelby, hey Brian, hey Dr. Soup,
Hey,
hey
everybody.
Liana's people, what's up? How you doing? Hey Tristan, hey Homines, and everybody else. Sorry, everybody
I
else, you're not
think
name
I
dropped.
think Golden Girls was first. When did Designing Women?
Never heard of Designing Women. I thought
Oh, really?
No, like be lucky I learned about the Golden Girls, okay?
Designing Women was a similar four women friends type show.
It likes
Uh
doing the number 4.
it's okay, so Designing Women was later than Golden Girls. Oh, but not by much. I didn't realize
Was it
Designing Women
still
was on
just
the
as good?
air that long. I yes, Golden Girls started first. Okay. Designing Women, I didn't like it as much, but some people loved it. I mean, Annie Potts was on it, and I love Annie Potts. Um, but
Oh, I
yeah, it
thought you
was
said any pots, and I'm like, "You just like pots and pans?"
the
Or
actress. Yeah, it was Jean Smart, Delta Burke, Dixie Carter, and Annie Potts, and they run a design firm. And it's a similar banter based show, but yeah. Um,
I guess
peop-
Shelby has a question for you, Liana.
okay. I am not sure I am totally aware of who this person is.
I didn't know who it is, so I just looked at the video everybody was talking about. It was just a girl who I believe streams, and she was on there in her bikini in a ball pit
Okay.
talking about blue balls or something like that.
Yeah, I sure I don't know cuz it was on G4.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I really get the sense G4 is just desperate for anyone to watch G4. So, I try to not pay it a ton of mind cuz they aren't paying me anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, I I don't know. It I try not to mind read why people do things, but yeah, it all just really seems I don't know why people have to go all one way or the other on things. Precisely because I want people have the right to, do sexy things if they want and let people just take that on its merits and have it be an authentic gesture that, let's not demonize all men in a particular group just because a relative few act like jerks. Is that so much to ask?
I think everybody's saying it's because that one girl, Frost,
Frost, yeah.
yeah, she did said something which apparently was last month. I thought it was a couple weeks ago. I don't know time.
It was a while back, yeah.
And she was like, "Well, they're not here to be pleasing to the eyes." And then a month later, we have a woman in a bikini playing with balls in a ball pit.
Yeah, I
And I said,
mean,
"Okay."
I don't think one female personality should be responsible for the opinions of another female personality, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially with
l-
I'm pretty sure, like, even though when somebody says something, executives could not really care.
oh, like, Amaranth gonna Amaranth, Frost gonna Frost. Why can't there be both? Right? I mean, I
Just
always see
Frost
these.
doesn't want it to. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Okay, it is overall hypocritical messaging, but think if you think about male hosts similarly, are they expected to all have the same opinions about things? They
I do
tend
not
not
believe
to.
so. Mhm.
Yeah, like male hosts, the whole idea is you have different people with different points of view and different personalities and stuff. So I you know, um I try not to make too much of this stuff because it is something of a double standard in terms of um women tend to all women on one thing, and this is something I got into when I was on TV is if all the women in a certain space didn't agree, people freaked out. They didn't know what to do. Oh my god, you're so confusing. Why? Just people have different opinions on things. But, you know, it is what it is.
I did find that one Golden Girls episode kind of boring where they shifted from the Golden Girls to be in a different cast, and it was like somebody else in somebody else's house, and it was a thing where like
Oh, the one
the
where Rose got new roommates?
nope. It was showing like the entire episode was showing somebody else completely different, but the Golden Girls cast know them. It was a woman and her husband, who's like a doctor or a surgeon or something like that. She was complaining about, I all the kids are gone. I don't have anything to do. I just want to spend time with you. And he couldn't get that for some reason. And it
Oh, I
was
wonder
like
if
that whole
that was
episode, and I,
the
I got bored.
I wonder if that was the Empty Nest spinoff. Might
Maybe.
have been. Yeah. Yeah.
But that was I used that episode as background noise. What
Yeah.
season are you on?
What's that?
Oh, I said, what season are you on currently? I'm almost
I
done with season 3.
I don't know. I watch Golden Girls. Golden Girls the last thing I watch in a day because I know it will likely be quality and funny. And so I save it before I go to bed because I hate cliffhangers in shows, and cliffhangers are everywhere, especially on streaming now. And so I can't end my night on a cliffhanger. So I watch Golden Girls at the end of the night. So I mean, I've seen the entire series. I saw it when it was new. Oh, dating myself. But yeah, I think I'm in season 3 or 4 right now, working through on Disney Plus.
Can you say one more time?
Oh, we're like season 3 or season 4 on Disney
Oh,
Plus
wow,
right
you're
now.
fast.
Yeah, well, they're only a half hour, right? I mean, I stopped because Arcane. Um, but I've only got, I think, 3 of those left now. So that's an intense, talk about night and day. That's an intense show.
I love Arcane so freaking much. And I guess Imagine Dragons now.
Really?
And I don't know them.
You don't know Imagine Dragons?
I know them by name.
I just know them because when I hear a song in a car ad, it's probably Imagine Dragons.
Oh.
They're one of the, like, they've got such an incredibly commercial sound, but it's a pretty good theme song for, they're sort of copying anime opener sound.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, my husband actually said, "This sounds like an anime theme song," and I'm like, I think it sounds like an Imagine Dragons song, and then I listened to it, it's like, "Yeah, okay, it's Imagine Dragons doing" the opening is like an anime theme song, and then they go the chin chin Imagine Dragons drum line. It's like, "Yes, this feels familiar now."
And then I was looking at their music videos and a lot of the other songs they did for the characters, which I find pretty cool.
Oh, they did individual songs for the characters?
Yes, Tristan sent me the one for Jinx. The animation is completely different. It's more video gamey feel.
Oh, more like the original stuff?
Yes. I
That
think it's
that
because it
was
was made like 9 years ago.
Yeah, that was why I was delayed, watching the show because I thought it was gonna have the same tone as the game, and I'm like, I don't I played the game when it first launched, good for Riot, it's a really, rags to riches story for the developer, but I don't know that I wanna watch this game and no, it was totally different.
I agree. 'Cause I never played the game, but from what I've seen, it's such a specific kind of thing, and I'm like, I don't think I would be interested in it. I thought it looked interesting, but I'm like, wait, it's this, and I'm like, I don't know. And then I'm like, oh, you don't have to do any research anyway. And I'm like, cool. If
Yeah,
they
they
were to do a Golden Girls reboot, they better throw in some Deadpool reference because of how many fans were created because of Wade's love for Bea Arthur. I'm confused of that statement. I don't understand.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds kept making wait, was it B. Arthur? I know there were Yentl references in the movie. Um,
Yentl?
Yentl. Yeah, in Deadpool, the "Papa, can you hear me?" That
Oh,
one,
yeah.
that's from a Barbara Streisand movie named Yentl. And so
Oh,
it's a run-on joke in it. But Ryan Reynolds just loves. I love Ryan Reynolds because he has broken this whole cringe thing. He is deliberately what the youngins call cringe and makes it work. And I'm like, yes, cringe needs to go away. I hate cringe. I hate the whole that's cringe. Hate it, hate it, hate it.
That's cringe, Liana.
Yeah, okay, it's in the comics, that's right.
It's just he was a huge Bay Arthur fan even before the movie. Oh, I don't have any Deadpool comics. I would not have known.
It's Deadpool's one of those comics that individual images, like frames of it, um uh stick in my mind, but Deadpool stories really don't. Deadpool's a comic about moments, like funny moments, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they did a great job with the movie.
Yeah,
Movies.
I
There
love
were
it.
two movies, right?
Wait, that reminds me. Doesn't Sophia have a very similar what's it called? Personality to Dorothy, but the person who played Dorothy was the one who got hate?
Well, I mean, Sophia had that old lady thing going on, right? It's funny if an old lady says it. This is the one thing I can't wait for with getting old. If I live that long, you can just get away with saying anything and it's just, oh, what a funny old lady. It's going to be all the revenge of people just taking me totally wrong the rest of my life. Look out, world. Old lady Leanna is going to throw some salt.
I'm already like this. I didn't have to wait till old age. Nobody takes me seriously anyway.
Well, they kind of have to take Sophia seriously, but sometimes I think she just talks because she knows she can get away with it. And I think that's why people love Sophia.
I did want to ask, when you first saw Sophia, she had like obviously her first appearance, but
Mhm.
then, season 2 or season 3 comes by and Sophia looks completely different. And I'm like, what is it? Is it the hair? Is it the face?
Well, she was supposed to just be a one off.
Oh,
And they added her to the cast. They got rid of there was in the pilot, there was a cook. They were
yes.
supposed going to have like a gay guy who was a cook. And they decided that if somebody was cooking for them, when could they have their socialization? Because the stuff that goes on in the kitchen is such a, major part of their dynamic. And so they got rid of that character. But the fact that they were even considering putting a gay character on television in the 80s, I mean, a show called Soap did it before Golden Girls, but it was still not super common,
If you want a character, no, if you want a director with a very interesting career that you thought would have ended before it began, look no further than Sean Levy, Pink Panther, Big Fat Liar. Now look at him. Who?
He's
The
a
Pink
Canadian guy, isn't he?
Panther, the movie, the guy with the white hair.
Oh, he's the guy who did who he directed Free Guy on Stranger Things. Oh, Real Steel. Oh, wow, he's done a bunch of stuff. Yeah, he's
Wait,
doing
he's
the
just a
upcoming
director. I'm
Deadpool.
thinking actor for some
No, no,
reason.
he's a director. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it's funny. I didn't love Free Guy as much as everybody else seemed to have.
I was like, oh, it's Ryan Reynolds, so it's a skip.
You just don't like Ryan Reynolds,
I like Ryan Reynolds. I like him in good movies though.
but he makes too many not great ones.
Yes, I don't know
Yeah.
if it's like the dialogue or the way he says the dialogue. Like I was talking to Tristan today. He was in a movie with Sandra Bullock and it was a romance movie. I totally forgot the proposal. Was that the same? Was that the name? I don't know. But to me he acted completely fine. I didn't act annoyed with his character. For Deadpool, you're supposed to act annoyed. We watched Green Lantern and we were like, no.
Oh, Green Lantern was terrible.
Yeah. Yes, the proposal. Thank you, Beef Pants. Love the name.
Yeah.
Beef tallow so good for your face. My dad was watching the Adam Project when the moment we were visiting, but it was like an hour into it, and I said, "This looks cheap and this looks boring."
Yeah, that doesn't That doesn't appeal to me. There's just too much content now. There's too many shows.
We gotta wait. I can't watch all of this. I'm only 26. I'm gonna be 85, and that's when I finished everything.
Yeah, it's they there's too much stuff. There's especially with all the stuff coming over from Japan and Korea and stuff like that.
Oh, Chinese anime is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, Estelle Getty was actually the youngest member of the cast, I believe.
What? She's
Mhm.
just short?
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and she had terrible stage fright as the show went
Oh,
on. It was really kind of tragic. Yeah,
was
I
it
saw those. What's that?
some sort of a traumatic thing that happened on stage?
No, I mean, some people just get it, right? Stage fright is just something that happens to some people, and people get periods of it. I mean, it can be a form of overwhelm. Um, some people just the whole experience of being, a celebrity, being famous is too much for some people.
It would be too much for me. I kept thinking, I want to be famous. And I'm like, wait, why are all these famous people dying? I don't want to be famous anymore.
Well, I agree with the Bill Murray quote. If you want to be rich and famous, try being rich first and see how that feels. Like, just be rich. You don't need to be famous.
I want to have money. But I'm not monetized, you turds. But of course, that's understandable. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to tell you about in Arcane. I remember me and Tristan doing reviews, but because we didn't know the lore and everything, we accidentally talked about race. Like what's it called? Freaking Caitlin. That's what I'm
Uh-huh.
pretty sure her name is. She looked kind of like Asian. Her dad looked Asian or whatever. And so I had ended up doing some sort of research, and apparently in the game she's like white, but because the actress was Asian, they gave her more Asian features. But in the game, they're not called Asian; they're called something else. And we got pretty much flack for it for saying, oh, this person is black, this person is Asian. uh that guy with a big gigantic hammer, shoot, what was his name?
Big gigantic hammer in a game like that doesn't. Who, Jace?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Like apparently he was also white, quote unquote, but the person who's playing him has like some sort of Hispanic Latino
That
descent or
that's
whatever, so they colored his skin too.
Have you seen Lucifer?
Yes.
Detective Douche from Lucifer voices Jace, and they did make him look like him.
And
Um,
then I got flack for calling him like, oh, so he must be like some sort of a Hispanic character. They're like, how dare you bring race into this? You just want identity politics. And I'm like, I didn't know they had a name. I don't know the
what it
lore.
what with like Piltover and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I understood there was like mystical creatures and all that stuff, and they had a name, but I thought the people were people. But
Oh, okay. I mean,
we had to be explained that they're not from Earth, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. That's my bad, I guess. I'm sorry, I can't call this person that say that they look Asian, despite wherever they live is completely a culture of every single Asian. You got samurais, you got ninjas, they all have the Asian distinct features, but I can't call them Asian.
well,
Okay.
okay.
I'm
League
sorry.
of Legends fans are pretty hardcore. Um, first and foremost, they get jumpy about things. So
I feel like that's
they
with
can.
every fandom.
Yeah, I mean, LOL lore is with all the alternative skins and all the different. The game takes a lot of work to really put a lot of lore behind the mechanics, and to me, whenever they get into hex tech in Arcane, I'm like, wow, they made an origin story for loot boxes. This is kind of amazing.
I actually
But
really liked that.
Yeah, I thought it was good that it was, you got a few little Easter eggs here and there if you know League of Legends, and I dropped off of LoL a while back, so there are certain things that even I missed, but Vi, I never understood why LoL fans loved Vi, but she's all right. She's all right. She's what's her name? The actress who plays Kate Bishop on Hawkeye character. Um
Haley was her name?
yeah,
Or
Haley Steinfeld or something like
yeah,
that.
got
Yeah,
it right, I
so
guessed.
yeah, and so it's like, all right, I don't really get why people love this character, but she's such a fan favorite, and so I guess that's why they focused on her, but the world building was really good. Oh man, is
So
there more
good.
drama about the Halo TV show?
There's more drama. So is it enough to just wiki the lore? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
Can't you hire people? Like, don't you like not have to know it yourself, but at least be around people who do know it, or at least fans of it?
I I don't know. I am not I
Hey,
am
look,
not a big fan of Halo lore. To
I'm not a
me,
big
it's
fan of
a
first-person shooters.
right. It's like a combination of a bunch of other things, and it just sort of hit at this time and became this huge phenomenon. But uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't really care about a Halo TV show. I
Me
don't
neither.
care terribly much about Halo anymore. Um, Halo started to slide for me starting with Halo 3, which is when Bungie gave up because Microsoft was being jerks. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't, I have trouble getting hyped up for this kind of stuff because it's just so I always get the sense it's bait, if that makes any sense. That
Yes.
they're trying to get the game base riled up to get normies to watch it.
I mean, if it looks interesting, I'll probably watch it, but that would have to be pretty hard, at least for somebody like me.
Yeah,
Also, I
I
heard it
mean,
was already going to be non-canon to the story anyway.
what
The
the
Halo.
Halo show?
Yeah.
They're including Chief, and it's going to be non-canon.
Yeah, I heard I was on Saggy Melon's stream and she was talking about it because she actually knows the stuff and everything, and so
That's
she was like, "Yeah, so it's most likely going to be like a non-canon whatever."
yeah, because they were
So she's
saying
like, "Whatever they do doesn't matter."
somebody told me they're going to reveal Master Chief's face for the first time. It's like, no, they did that in like Halo 3. They showed him as a kid, but they showed his face. It was
So he
weird.
does have a face. We know.
Yeah, we assumed he didn't before. Oh,
Yes. Oh,
Loki
so
just watched Spider-Man No Way Home. Awesome movie.
nice.
Love that movie. Have nothing bad to say about Spider-Man No Way Home.
I
I
shall hold my tongue.
What didn't you No, okay, tell me.
No.
No, I'm afraid I like it too much.
I mean, honestly, I forgot what it was. It's been a
Oh,
long time. um, I don't know. It's like I honestly felt like I don't know if I should say spoilers. It's how long has it been?
yeah, it's been a while.
But for Aunt May, I felt like I didn't really I watched it twice, but I felt like I didn't care when her moment came because I'm like, what have you done in the movies? Like you don't get that much spotlight, you don't get that much dialogue. You do support Peter, which is a great thing for an aunt to do, but I feel like you don't do much. And so which is why for the twice I'm just like, okay, I feel like she did the most in this movie though. Like she was gonna defend Peter and grab a stick and be like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, you did great.
Well, there was
Willem
all that
Dafoe was
stuff.
great too.
He was better in that movie than he was in the original movie.
I'm just
No, he
kidding.
was. I'm telling you.
You just see him steal the donut in the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
It,
great.
I just thought it was a really good superhero movie where nothing super stupid happened. They didn't do something totally character breaking to move the plot along ever. And that's enough for me these days.
Oh, I'm starting to remember now. I think it wasn't the movie, but more like what they decided to do with the movie. Like
What a big recap bonanza?
they got some scenes wrong from like they were explaining the scenes from other movies, and I said that's not how that happened. Oh no, you're giving people misinformation. Go watch the movies instead, guys. They're lying. And then I feel like adding the lizard didn't really do much. Adding Sandman didn't really do much either because they couldn't get the actors because of COVID, I believe.
Is that what
And
happened?
so yeah, and so they
Okay.
voiced the characters, but that's why
That's why it's so digital.
yeah, and and the whole Sandman thing becoming human, that's a scene from Spider-Man 3 that they took and they reversed it. And I
Yeah,
went, "No
I
wonder that looks so freaking familiar. I'm so angry." And that's why there was no dialogue with him and Peter, because he was like,
I
"I only trust Peter." But then the actual his Peter Parker, his Spider-Man shows up. He's like, "Hey, we're trying to help you." Nothing. And says nothing, and then turns into human, which is not really him, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna get you home," and I'm like, "Still nothing." I'm like, "Okay, okay, it's Tom Holland's movie anyway, I guess."
I mean, I've never really liked Jamie Foxx's Electro. So I guess I sort
I
of
was the
had
opposite. I loved it.
I sort of had that bias there. I mean, I didn't like that entire movie. Like I
I
didn't
was
like the
I
whole
was funny enough.
idea.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 was my first Amazing Spider-Man movie. I didn't see the first one. The first
Oh,
one
you
was
didn't see
boring
the
to
first
me.
one.
And then I saw the second one, and I'm like, "Yo, this is pretty cool," and I liked it. And the chairs move, and with the vibration and everything, he was like, "Bzzz," and I'm like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" But then I learned everybody hated it. I'm like, "Oh, it's always the movies that I like that everybody hates."
Well, if you don't, you don't have the problem with Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is that uh, everybody knew what was coming. And so a lot of people were like, nope, don't want to see that. I don't know what they were thinking doing that story. I think it killed the Andrew Garfield franchise. Okay, how many
Honestly,
people have only died once in the MCU at this point? A lot of people have died multiple times.
especially in the multiverse. Woo,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange
Now there's a multiverse. All bets are off.
Oh, sorry. I had a moment where I thought I was watching commentary. Okay, so
Oh. You forgot you were the streamer?
yes, it actually happens to me a lot because I'm still not used to being the host. I'm used to waiting for dialogue for somebody else to say.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so something new came up on Twitter for the Batman.
Oh boy.
So let us check to see what it is. Gosh dang, that looks terrible. But
Well, okay, one, it's GameSpot,
yeah, exactly.
but this is possibly a bunch of people voting who have not seen the Batman.
One of my problems was that like the Dark Knight is not only super old, but the Batman just came out and people still haven't seen it, and
But
that they're comparing a first movie
there you
to a
go.
sequel movie, and I'm
That's
like, that
that's
makes
my
no
problem.
sense.
That's my objection. Is it
You
should
compare
have
it to Batman
been
Begins. It doesn't
right.
matter how dark.
Exactly. Exactly. You got to compare first movie to first movie.
And it's like
It
I understand people want to compare this to the Dark Knight because of how dark it was, and I'm like, if you look at the Christopher Nolan Trinity
trilogy.
trilogy, thank you. It's all dark, but just like the middle one just ended up being a little bit more dark than the other two. But like I don't think it's comparable at all besides darkness.
No, they're completely different worlds.
And I'm just like, no, stop comparing them. Please.
Yeah,
It's not
it
that.
can yeah, like the Nolan trilogy is the Nolan trilogy. If you like the Nolan trilogy, stay with it. You know, those movies are never going away. No one is going to director's cut or special edition the Nolan trilogy, right? Those
Release the
those
eight.
movies, they exist, right? No one is going to come and take them away. I never understand this as somebody who was a fan of the original, like Christopher Reeve first two Superman films, right?
Mhm.
And then they've remade Superman and remade Superman and remade Superman. I just like, well, up until Superman and Lois, I was like, I just like Chris Reeve Superman better. I wasn't big on Dean Cain. Brandon Routh was a good Superman, but the movies weren't good. Uh, Same with Henry Cavill. Though I think Brandon Routh's Superman is a little better because he's less brooding.
Mhm.
But you know, like whatever. I have a Superman I like. I have a couple Superman I like. I don't have to be an asshole about this. But Batman just I've said this before, there's something about Batman that makes people batshit. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know why people go so ragey about Batman in a way they don't go nuts over any other superhero, but it's kind of scary. And I don't know. I just yeah, I don't know how you compare those movies. It's the same way I don't know how you compare the first two Tim Burton films to even each other, but you know, the Nolan films. It's like whatever. We can all agree that the Schumacher films were like campy and weird, but you know,
You know.
I like the Batman games. You know, I like the Arkham games. Those are sort of my point of comparison. And yeah, Batman the animated series. You know,
Yes.
there are two types of people in this world: those who think Kevin Conroy is best Batman, and those who are wrong, right? You know, but that's the thing. Like the movie, I don't. I've said this on many streams. I don't think there has actually been a truly great Batman film yet. Everyone has had some flaw to
Mhm.
me. And I do think that the new Batman movies have a lot of potential with them. They they still have that problem of trying to do too much, going on way too long, um, and not quite trying to please too many disparate groups of people. And I do like the fact that they made it a detective story. But then, you know, there was a fourth act tacked onto that sucker.
The usual.
And I don't get it. I mean, that was my complaint about The Dark Knight as well. That all of a sudden, okay, story with a beginning, middle, and end. And then it kept going. Like, why? Why do we need this much movie? I don't need this much movie.
I realized that out of all the three movies, I only liked The Dark Knight. And then I realized that I've been hyping up the Christopher Nolan trilogy despite me only liking that one movie
That's really
out of three.
interesting.
And I'm like, wait, I'm being stupid right now. Why am I defending him when I just like one of the movies?
See,
Yo,
Shelby,
Bianca, what are your thoughts on the 2004 The Batman cartoon series? That is my favorite cartoon series. That's the one I grew up on. um, I grew up on the Batman Beyond, the Batman, and Batman Brave and the Bold. I'm not adding the Justice League and Justice
the
League Unlimited.
the Batman was the one with gravelly voice Joker, right?
Um, what's that guy's name? Kevin Richards? Was that Kevin Richards or something like that?
Yeah.
Black voice actor.
And Batman has no nose when he's in the cowl.
When
Like
you
it's
go
just like a
and yeah,
yeah, it's
that's
just
the
a round
one.
shape. Okay, I'm thinking of the right one.
Jackie Chan adventure style.
Yeah, no, that I mean, you know what? That was good for what it was. It was just how you had to be the series that came after Batman the Animated Series.
And that's what makes it terrible. Kevin Michael Richardson. Thank you
Yeah.
guys, everybody who said that. Like I guess like what influenced that to be my most favorite Batman was probably because as a young kid, I don't remember what age it started, but I started at a very young age that I realized I like a lot of things that can be considered for boys.
Mhm.
I remember going to Blockbuster and we were told to pick out whatever we wanted. So I picked out a strawberry shortcake DVD, and my brother and my father both picked out an action movie called The Three Ninjas.
Oh, cool. Okay.
The Three Ninjas Kick Back. I'm pretty sure we saw the sequel and not the
Not
beginning.
the original? Yeah.
Yeah, and then we ended up getting more of the trilogy later on, and so we came home. My father's like, "Okay, she's gonna watch it first," and I'm like, "Yeah, suckers!"
Mm.
And so I'm watching it, and I'm like, "That was fantastic." And then he was like, "Okay, now we're gonna watch our movie," and so I'm looking at it, and I'm just like in awe of what I'm looking at, and I'm just like, "Yo, Strawberry Shortcake sucks." And why did I get this piece of crap, man? And then that's when we started watching martial arts movies with our dads, like
Oh,
70s and
cool.
early 80s. And so like watching the Jackie Chan adventures at my dad's house, and then the Batman came out and I'm like, oh my gosh, Penguin can do martial arts and he can
Yeah.
kick Batman and he's fighting with Joker all at the same time. It's a three-way fight. That was one of the high points. I'm like, this is the best. I don't care if he's fat. I don't care if he's short. I want him to kick Batman's butt and he can be able to.
That's
I'm
cool.
sorry.
That's cool. That's so cool. I love
And then I'm
that.
going to watch it with my sister after we finish Batman Beyond. Hee 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 hee.
Batman Beyond was great too. Shelby had a good comment a while back. I'm with them that I want the mystical stuff in, please, once. I know that they want Batman could really happen in the real world, but I want Clayface. I want Poison Ivy. I want those really fun characters.
So
And
I actually saw on Twitter that people could be misrepresenting of what he's talking about
well,
because
that'd
he
be
said
good.
he wanted Batman to be grounded, but he also said he wanted Planet of the Apes to be grounded, and it is, but in character development because you still have stuff like talking apes and stuff.
Right.
So it's possible he means more character development and how he wants to do things than not adding any fantasy whatever majigger.
I mean,
I had
let's
it
let's
going.
yeah, let's face it, the idea of reality. Does anybody really want reality in superhero stuff? Like really?
If
They
you want
say they
reality, go
do.
look at Zack Snyder. He said he was doing all of that and blah blah blah. You can just watch all of that,
But
okay?
also that I mean, dude can fly, immediately not reality. There's a lot of things about the whole
Not if you
Batman
believe,
deal.
Liana.
What's that?
Not if you believe, Liana. Not if you
Right, I know, I
believe.
know. Jeez, the believe a man can fly. I don't know. I'm so cynical about this stuff now. They so often mistake sloganeering like that for solid character development and theme. And so I just get really cranky about it. But yeah, I want an element of surrealism in movies cuz I mean that's what makes it fun, right? Otherwise it's
Yeah.
just people solving problems with violence and I start thinking about it too hard.
Give us Kung Fu Guy Penguin. Yes. He can speak Italian too if he wants. I don't care.
Uh
And then, of course, there was that whole thing. It was that whole thing that everybody was making a ruckus about because of one person's review that there was too many good black characters versus white characters, which is
oh,
it's a total lie. What annoyed me is that that person ignored every single other minority and just spoke about the black people.
but
And I'm like,
also it's Jeffrey Wright and Zoe Kravitz. Why are you complaining?
because they're race bent. Even though one of them has
Fair.
been race bent since the 90s.
One of them's been race bent since the 60s.
Oh wait, 60s. That's my bad.
Yeah, I mean, and do is is Commissioner Gordon's race central to who he is? No, it's not.
I realize
Who
that
cares?
no, it is not. Red was on a comic book because it looks nice. If
Just
they really cared about ethnicity, how many black gingers do you see in a comic? How many Asian gingers do you see in a comic? How many Spanish, Hispanic, Latinos that are gingers have you seen in a comic? None. Not
it,
none. Sorry, that's my bad. But you mostly just see like just white people.
it's Jeffrey Wright.
It is, and this is the first movie I've ever seen him in. He's
Oh,
really
you're
good.
kidding.
No,
Oh, he's
I'm
good in
sorry.
everything he's in. Just so good. And he has this ability to, because he did this in Westworld as well. He has this ability to just make utterly ridiculous, horrible stuff seem human and relatable just from his performance. And these sorts of stories very much need that. He's got great reactions. And so I I thought he was perfect in that regard. And I thought that his back and forth with Robert Pattinson's Batman was really good. It was a believable thing in a movie full of very hard to believe things, you know? It
Mhm.
added that um uh it added that grounding, I guess. I wouldn't call the Batman a grounded movie. I wouldn't.
Nah,
I wouldn't. I don't. If that was his intention, I don't think he met that intention with this film. And I don't need it to be grounded, you know? Um I mean, I would say Bruce Wayne's whiteness is actually there it is. I do think cuz Bruce Wayne is a man of privilege. So, um I thought that they used that as a metaphor for, because I mean, Catwoman's family got screwed by that city, right? They were just trying to get by, and Gotham was not kind to them. Same with James Gordon. He was an honest cop, right? Full of a lot of not honest cops. And so I thought it worked. But then again, I don't terribly care what the race of someone is as long as they're good in the part. It
funny enough,
just
I just saw a review of somebody saying that. She was like, okay, this is a movie about three orphans and how they're affected by society. You
right.
have Batman, who is the rich,
Yeah.
white, privileged one. You have the Riddler, who is also white, but he doesn't have the privilege,
Mhm.
as he said before, but his life is still not as good. And then you have Catwoman, who is a biracial woman whose life essentially sucks, and
Yeah.
she's also not rich. But it was very interesting how she broke it down, and she was like, she is Riddler is not seen as a threat because he is a white man. Batman is not seen as a threat because he's a white man with money. And then Selena Kyle, she's not seen as as much as a threat because she is a woman, but her being half black could be something along that lines. It was like 30 minutes, so I can't obviously say everything that she
That's
said.
interesting. That's interesting. I just, I'm willing to accept that, Zoe Kravitz read best for the part because she was pretty
Really,
good in that part.
I feel like she was so wasted though.
I felt like I was with you there. I felt like she gave more to the part than the part gave to her.
Yes, and I'm like, no, why? You put so much effort into this, and I can feel it, I
Yeah.
can see it, but that's it? Like, why add Catwoman in here if she's not gonna have that much of a role? Like, the only important role I remember was just her wearing the contact lenses. Anything other than that, I didn't really see, unless, she's talking to Batman, complaining about him, like, hey, you blah, 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 blah. um and interesting enough, she's seen as a hero or as a good guy, but she steals though. She still
Yeah.
steals. She still has the villain, no, not the villain, the thief part of her. So she's not technically a good guy at
Well, she's
all.
got the Catwoman's supposed to be an anti-hero.
Yeah.
And I've always liked that about the Catwoman character, that she's a rare female anti-hero. Now, okay, she's a femme fatale. So that tends to be how women are allowed to be anti-heroes. But I like the way Zoe Kravitz, that one scene where she was in with the contact lenses, and she had a better read on the danger of the situation than he did.
I
And
loved that. I was
I
like, wow.
I really thought they were gonna go somewhere with that, that he does lack a certain understanding of people, and that was a growth arc for him, but they didn't do much with that at the end of the day. It's like they, had a good idea and then had to make a bunch of compromises to get the movie made, if that makes any sense.
Yes. The reviewer I was talking about, she also mentioned that because of that, it's possible that he could be somewhere around the neurodivergent area, since he lacks some I don't know what's it called. Uh
Well, he also just didn't get out much, right?
yeah,
I
which
mean,
may have hurt a lot. It does
well,
hurt a lot.
it's an example of, well, yeah, he was a rich orphan, therefore he had money, but he had no nurturing, right? That one scene that's very divisive where he gets mad at Alfred and, all that stuff. I thought that was actually a really important scene in terms of this Batman and this world and this Alfred and their relationship, and I like that they gave them a moment. But yeah, I he I wanted them to go all in on him being a weirdo,
Yeah, I
right?
would have loved that, but
Yeah,
a lot of people didn't like that
I know.
because Robert Patterson said, "Bruce Wayne, he's a weirdo," and I'm like, "I agree. Whether it's in the
Yeah,
movie or in the comics, he is a weirdo."
yeah.
No sane person would take a kid and say, "You're gonna be Robin now," you know?
Well, even the idea that he can make any real meaningful changes as one person by going out and beating people up. Like, just no, man. You just want to go beat people up, you know? Like, there are better ways to, we know what works. We know how harm reduction works. We know how crime prevention works, and it ain't that.
Whatever happened to that controversy where she said she got passed on
The
for
Dark Knight.
Night? Oh, The Dark Knight, 'cause she's oh, is that what it was? I knew it had something to
Yeah.
do with, Christopher Nolan, but I didn't understand it, and I'm like,
Too urban. That
oh,
was the
shoot.
code at the time.
Well, my gosh, my coworker was right. Christopher Nolan is racist.
Oh, did you say that?
He said that. I
Okay,
was like
there's
I was hyping up the Tenet movie, and I'm like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna watch Tenet and blah blah blah, and Robert Pattinson's gonna be in it," and he's like, "Christopher Nolan's racist," and I'm like, "He is?" And he's like, yeah," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I want to see this movie though."
okay, but
And so I still ended up seeing the movie, and then he told me like a few weeks later, "Oh my gosh, oh, I saw this movie," and I'm like, "Wait, isn't that movie by Christopher Nolan? Didn't you tell
Nolan?
me he
Yeah.
was racist?" He's like, "I'll do what I want," and I'm like, "Dang it."
Oh, that's funny.
He's
Yeah,
funny
I
like
don't
that.
I'm a little less quick to throw that word around. There's no saying it was him that insisted on that. There's no sense he was even given the option. There's a lot of people who have their fingers in especially a Batman movie. So I'm not, yeah, that see, okay, the history of the word urban. They
I
started
didn't know this,
calling
by the way.
Yeah,
I
they
just learned
started
it.
calling hip hop music urban music to try to get past, suburban soccer moms. So their 14-year-old little delinquents in training would buy hip hop albums, right? But it
Oh, okay.
became like so many things, because, you find one way to try to force people to be less racist, and because you can't force people to think differently, uh, it just becomes a tool for racism, right?
Mm.
And urban's the same way. They tried to find a way to, grease the wheels and get hip hop acts into, because there's been a history of black music, white music, that tension, right? And
No
you know
Hispanic Latino music. We're just
there
here
you
for the
go.
day.
But
Or
that
well, Asian music is a lot more popular now.
now, but I mean, there was specifically in the US, if you were a black musician that white people listened to, uh ah, Shelby, well done. Yeah, there's a particular thing with race and music in the US, and it just won't. I wish people would
Go
just
away.
stop being silly about this stuff. It's so this is why we can't have nice things territory.
Oh, Shelby said that Zoe Kravitz lied about it. I'm like, oh, okay.
She did?
I don't know. I remember seeing something like a video title like Zoe Kravitz and then lie. And then I
Ugh.
watched it and I'm like, you didn't explain anything and I'm more confused now.
There's no reason for her to lie about something like that. It benefits her not at all. She's only doing this because she can now. Because people thought she was awesome as Catwoman, and so now she's like, I'm gonna speak. It makes no sense for her to lie about that now.
Oh, since we're on the Batman, let's talk about the Batgirl director.
Yes.
Woo! Right, so
Yes.
there's that meme the Batgirl director did, which I guess I should say got people in a tiffy. If I should say.
I'm really surprised by this, but yeah.
So I'm actually gonna show it just in case some people haven't like seen it yet. And I shared it on my shorts page. Boop boop boop. So this is what it was. I'm gonna play it one more time just so people can read because I didn't realize it was so fast.
It's basically wait for the movie, wait for the movie, wait for the movie.
Ah,
I loved it.
I loved it too because I like this type of humor. I've been in multiple fans. I like say I am an anime fan, but
Mhm.
there's so many times where the fans themselves will crap on anime,
Yeah.
and it's a completely normal thing. But everybody's like, well, he shouldn't be doing this because he's a director, and he should be more professional and just show professionalism. Which I'm glad I spelled it right on the title of this
Yes.
video.
Having a sense of humor is a type of professionalism. I think that this is the best way to handle these sorts of freakouts. Wait wait for the movie, wait for the movie, wait for the movie. I that is my go-to with a lot of with the Lord of the Rings series that everybody's freaking out. Wait for the show, because I did that on the original Lord of the Rings. I lost it, was like, this movie's gonna suck because they showed Arwen with a sword in plate mail armor, and I thought that's not Arwen. There's no way, and they did change stuff from the books, but the movies were overall good. So wait for the movie.
But there's a lot of fans who say, well, if I'm not interested from what you've shown me, I shouldn't have to watch the movie and should
Oh,
have already an opinion of from the meme you showed.
no, because that's just a meme. Wait for the movie. I don't
What
I
anime
don't
fans crap on anime all the time. I watch anime. I crap on anime and the tropes and the genres and all that stuff. It's completely normal. It's a stress releaser.
Oh, I got no problem with dunking on silly parts of things. Like, I think that's part of the fun. I
Exactly.
just
Yeah, yeah.
I think there is a line that gets crossed from you're having fun with this to you seem to be about to bust a blood vessel. Can you please chill? This need, like, I don't understand what people get out of predicting something is going to suck. Cuz they're going to go see it. Should
And then say, "Oh
convince
my gosh, I was right. I shouldn't have. This is a waste of money. This is a waste of time." And I'm like, "But you said it was gonna suck. But why? So why'd you do it, man? Why'd you
Yeah,
do it?"
like there's certain things I just I've been delaying playing Elden Ring because I don't think it can possibly live up to the hype. So I'm waiting a bit because it's an unspoilable game, right? Like what plot in From Software games? And so it's not a game that is ever going to spoil. I'm going to wait until I can judge it on its merits and not all the crazy hype, because I find hype annoys me, completely annoys me. It's just a thing working in the media for years and years and years. It's like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, whatever. You know, I'm not buying it. And I get so cranky when something is so overhyped that I can't enjoy it. So I just wait. And if I can do that, that's why I waited to watch Arcane. Because whenever it's like, oh, Arcane's so good, it's like there's no way that I'm going to see God the way people are telling me I'm going to. So I'm just gonna wait, you know? Oh,
Oops.
Robert's going on about Masters of the Universe again. Oh, Cyberpunk was just a mess though, Shelby.
um so the way the movie argument has been used on movies that did suck, like Ghostbusters and Resident Evil. But here's the thing: they use
Wait,
this for every single movie coming out. They did it with Turning Red, and that turned out good. They did it with the Batman, and the Batman is objectively good, not subjectively,
right.
objectively good. You can, despite all this flaws, it does have flaws, and I'm not like gonna say it doesn't have flaws, but I've seen people say this movie's gonna suck with literally every single thing that comes out.
Yeah.
You watch a trailer, you go to the comment section, you have people saying it's gonna suck. Sometimes
Yeah.
there's one, sometimes there's five, sometimes there's 50, but like it happens with everybody. And and so that's why I'm like, whatever, you can have your own opinion, and whether it does well or not, that's the whole thing.
Well,
The,
which Ghostbusters are we talking about? The one that
obviously
just
the
was
female one.
the second last one. So not the one that just came out where they hid the fact that the girl's actually the main character.
Probably not. I haven't heard anybody say anything about that. Nobody said it was gonna suck. A lot of them said, "Oh my gosh, it's gonna be great. This is what we wanted in the first place." So I assume it's about the Ghostbusters 2016. 2016?
Yeah,
2016.
yeah. I mean
Um
that was just a terribly see that one. I judge that one a little bit differently because that one did just throw out all the pre-existing lore. It didn't. They could have done that movie and have it be a franchise because of that cartoon franchises, so that the commercial in the original Ghostbusters franchise is available. They didn't have to do a complete reboot the way they
I
did.
heard it was a different universe.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where it's one thing to say this movie shits on the original because they race bent or they gender bent. And then it's another thing to say, no, they did shit on the original. Like they didn't pay proper respect to what came before. And I do think that's going to upset people when you do that. When you take a beloved franchise like that and just act like it never existed, people are going to understandably get upset.
What? The original were there, but they weren't like themselves, because the fat one, I'm sorry, I don't know their names. The fat one was a taxi driver, and he had a really thick accent. He's like, ba 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 ba, I ain't afraid of no ghosts, okay? And then he drove off. So I doubt
But
that's the same guy.
Dan Aykroyd had a cameo in it. I didn't see it. Like that's the
Oh, you didn't.
thing. I
And I
I
know
didn't see it.
for the black one, I'm
I
sorry,
was
I'm saying the
like
black one because I don't know their names. He
I
was
was like
n-
Winston, Ernie
maybe.
Hudson. Yeah.
So they, Leslie's Grace character and him are like related, like he's the uncle or something like that, and
Oh, okay.
he owns like a car place, a dealership or something
Oh,
like that.
that's so weird.
But the thing is, like, when I watch new movies that end up being like a reboot or a continuation or whatever, I try to see the older ones so I can compare.
Hmm.
It's just a hobby of mine, nothing too serious. So I did see the first and second original Ghostbusters movie to prepare for the reboot. but to me, all of them were just okay. I hated the first one.
I hated the first Ghostbusters. You know what?
Uh,
You know what? In a modern setting, I mean, yes, Venkman was deliberately a sexist at the time. His character does not age well for modern sensibilities. You know what I mean?
oh, that's right. Bill Murray was there.
Yeah, Bill Murray was Venkman, and yeah, that character doesn't age well. You know, sleeping with his students, lying to them about things to get them into bed. Yeah,
Did
no.
we have a problem with the part where the love interest goes into the house and then the demon ends up coming up and there's a lot of demons like groping her and there's one that gropes her boobs? Or is
Well,
that should be like an actor thing and just ignore it?
that's sort of it was the 80s, right? They tried to put
It was the 80s.
TNA and everything, and it there was a real kind of horror boom at the time that did, you know, we're going to do all the sex and violence. It was the 80s. It
There's just got it. Like the comedy. Everybody says the comedy is so good in the first and second Ghostbusters original, but I didn't laugh. I didn't laugh at all. I'm like, I don't. I only laughed at one Bill Murray scene, and no, two Bill Murray scenes. I'm a liar. I'm sorry. One where he had like goop in his hands and he was trying to get it off was funny. And
mhm.
then one time where he hit his friend because he ruined his chances to get with like a girl. Those are the only two parts that made me laugh in the first one. And the second one, I don't nothing. Midnight, the He-Man part. Who you gonna call? He-Man.
Yeah.
That part made me laugh. In Ghostbusters, the 2016, there was this reoccurring joke with soup and wontons and how she couldn't every time she ordered it she couldn't get the right proportion, like too much soup or too much wontons.
Mhm.
And in the very ending of the movie she's like, I just want in like a perfect proportion of soup and wontons.
Yeah.
And I said I agree, and then that's what made me laugh. But everybody hated that and I'm like, I liked it. Everybody hated the little dance number at the end and I actually liked it. I liked watching it. I like watch it sometimes.
I think people just first of all there was a lot of like prejudging in that movie with reason. They didn't market it very well. But
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
think
it was
so.
all the really obvious sight gags and screaming and yelling, which the first one didn't didn't have in the same way. There were moments, but it, you know, it was the we're gonna make this a really really long SNL sketch that kind of put that very much put people off. Um, and yeah, I think that was it. I don't know. I think it was a combination of well, okay, it was a combination of really really bad marketing,
Hmm.
um, creating a huge war with fans that people actually did sort of agree. Yeah, see, there's an example of the original Ghostbusters was set during the recession in the 1980s. And it was a very specific recession because it was the first time that white collar workers lost their jobs alongside blue collar workers. So the fact they all came from academia and then had to put on overalls, that spoke to people in the 80s. And
Hmm.
so there was a poignance there, but yeah, they didn't have any of that in the new one. And I just think the it girl casting with a lot of it put people off as
The It
well.
Girl.
Yeah, like Leslie Jones. It was Kate McKinnon in that. And
Yes, yes.
yeah, and why
I
is it
love
an
her
all
Verizon commercials.
what it's supposed to be an all-female Ghostbusters, but the guy who played Thor is in it. How is that all-female Ghostbusters?
The guy who played Thor? Oh,
Yeah.
freaking! Oh my gosh, my mind immediately went to He-Man and not to Thor, and I don't know why. Maybe because they're both blonde.
He'd actually be probably pretty good in a live action He-Man now that you mention it, because he's got the
Terry
comedy
Crews as
ability.
well.
Yeah, Terry Crews would be a good man at arms, frankly. But oh, you
Oh,
saw that meme, did you?
yeah, where Terry
Like you
Crews is
got character,
playing
yeah,
everybody, including Tila, and I said, I approve.
very funny. I thought that was very funny.
I loved it so much. Man,
Yeah.
that professionalism one was super short. But I feel like it is a short answer. Yeah, I feel like you can do what you want. If you want to be funny, you can be funny. Don't be too serious about memes, which is a weird thing. Why would you be serious about memes
Well,
at all?
also, I think you can do it. Be very, very careful that the joke lands. I will put that
Mm,
caveat on it, right?
you're right. You're right.
It's only professional if it actually lands. And yeah, okay, there's an element of subjectivity there. But I think that the this particular meme made a point, managed to address yet another fan freakout in a way that was funny and light and didn't get into a protracted Twitter fight or YouTube war with either the fan base or the people saying, "Why are you pandering to the fan base?" Right? It was a really good way to handle something of a no-win situation, and I think that is professional. Professional is not an absence of personality. I get accused of this too when we all have our moments where people make a nasty comment about something and twist our words, or they make a personal attack, or they make fun of our appearance or the sound of our voice or anything like that. And we just go, "You know what?
Especially if
No."
you're a woman.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, guys get it too. There's a lot of fat shaming of um of
I meant for the voice
male
part.
YouTubers. Well, the voice part, I think some guys may get made fun of too, but the voice thing, yeah, I think you're right. Women get it more, right?
I
Men
was
get it, but women get it more.
I was criticized for liking on Netflix Michelle Wolf, and I'm
Who?
like, "What was wrong with Michelle Wolf?" And they're like, "Have you heard her voice?" And I'm like, "What about it? We have this voice. Sometimes it gets high. I don't really care." And then I'm like, I don't want to feel bad just for listening to her.
I don't understand why that's I mean, people are gonna be mean, but every so often how do I put this? Every so often something just, "No, you shall not pass." Right? My big concern is the vicarious trauma that people who watch what people go through, uh, get, and they're afraid to try. They're afraid to put themselves out there and express their ideas because they see the savagery that goes on out there, and because of that, I think sometimes you have to just go, "You know what? No, you don't get to do this on this one." And I think we do have to do that. I think that's extremely professional. If you're somebody who's been around a while, you do sort of have to speak up on behalf of other people too. That's why I tend to come to the defense of some people, or just show support for some people who I feel like are getting an unfairly rough ride because,
He's calling
you
Tristan
know,
out. I'm just kidding.
what? Yeah, okay. Um, I think it okay, I admit I don't understand that one. I think Tristan has a great voice. I think Tristan has a sexy voice. I don't know, when people talk about that, I'm like, "What are I'll be in my bunk." Just enough. Um,
Mine's only a problem if I get too happy. The pitch gets really, really high, and it actually hurts people's ears if I'm next to them.
the weird thing is when you do voice acting, that's a tool, and, ah this all just drives me crazy. I used to get shit all the time because my vowels are Canadian. And so I have to draw out the fucking Mario. So people, it's not Mario, it's Mario. It's like, I have a Canadian accent. We A everything, settle down. Mario is Mario with an Italian accent. Chill. I thought if I did that, then people would accuse me of appropriation or some kind of crap. All right, fine. They prefer Mario, but chill the fuck out. Well, yeah, Robert said, I also think Ingrid has a great voice. I have a thing for unique voices. Well, yeah, because I'm always listening for a voice that I could possibly use as a character, you know?
Sparkle Muffin.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was, uh, I'm forgetting she was Princess Peach that I had to bring down so I didn't deafen people. Because Princess Peach's voice, oh my god, it's so loud that dolphins can hear it. I actually have to warm up that voice by singing Disney songs an octave higher than they were recorded. Um, because it's, Mario thing. It's so
Oh,
freaking
you did so
high.
good.
But because I had to practice a lot because it's larynx position, right? And so with Princess Sparkle Muffin, I'm like, talking like this all the time would be really, really annoying. Even if it's an anime voice or some sort of cartoon mouse, is everybody gonna want to listen to 5 episodes? No, right? Right? Like they're not gonna want to listen to that voice all the time. It sounds like somebody got
I'm
hit
so
by a
used to the
shrink ray.
Japanese ones that if I listen to the English ones, I just not tune out, but I'm just so used to it. I'm like,
Yeah, the the
Not my
kawaii
sister though. She hates the high Japanese voices. She'd
yeah,
rather
the
prefer the
kawaii
high English
voice.
ones.
So what I did was I actually threw a bit of Big Bird into it. So it's like, hi everybody. Now I sound comforting. I'm reminding you of your childhood because I'm a little bit nasal. Welcome to Sesame Street. So you tweak voices like that, and then there's a bit of Powerpuff Girls and everything like that. And that's how you create voices. But you need that catalog of how do I sound unique and do 14 of them in the same web series and not hit the same vocal timbre so it starts to sound like sludge. And so I mean it's also frustrating when you do voice work. I think I was talking about this on Tristan's stream before that every time I give somebody a bunch of interesting voices, they tend to pick the Disney princess voice. I was actually quite happy with that trailer I did for Tristan. They took the sort of Cockney tough girl voice. I'm like, all right, they went for some character on that one, but it was the first take. Uh, but
Oh, that
yeah,
made so much sense.
yeah, but
I'm sorry. Like I do like ever since I wanted to become like a voice actor
mm,
a few years ago, I ended up being way more interested in like the directing part. And I
yeah,
said
no,
this sounds like a first take.
oh yeah, it was they just that happens too, right? They're in a hurry and they just whoosh, they take it. But every time I've given and you have to do the just enunciated voice that sounds like this because it's soothing and it's pretty and people can understand it very easily. But the minute you give them that, that's what they're going to use. They're not going to do
Uh,
anything remotely differently. That was a voice somebody used for a strip club owner. I did a voice for, like it was just like you picked that the guy whose book we were adapting to the cartoon was like, yeah, I really liked your Brooklyn accent, but they picked that one
Brooklyn.
because they want girls to sound pretty, right? They don't
Mhm.
want girls to sound interesting.
Ugly. I'm never mind.
Yeah, and the only exception to that is Raven Slacker voice. You're allowed to sound like this now. This is the other acceptable female voice. Either that or angry tough chick, right? Where it's in the gut and like everything starts with this. That's Vi in Arcane. It's always pushed from here. It's an anime thing, but they're doing the tough guy voice as a woman. That's those are the three acceptable female voices in this day and age.
My voice
And
always sounds naturally sarcastic, which is why I'm like, ugh, I don't have enough emotion in my voice.
well, that's direction too, right? Like that's
Yes.
motivation. That's making sure you understand the context that you're doing a read in, and that's often laughing.
Hi, Sleepy Joe. You can smell Liana's hair. She just had it done.
Why are you volunteering my hair? Oh, right. Sorry, that's a private joke. Private joke. Funny stuff.
I'm glad Sleepy Joe is here. We needed the chat to be fire.
Well,
Ah,
it's satire. Somebody's chatting in character.
exactly. Oh, hey, Cartoon and Comics, did you just come in? I didn't see you. I'm so sorry if I didn't say hi before. I'm a
Cartoon and
terrible
comics in the
person.
house.
Yeah, yeah,
Cartoon
yeah.
and comics.
Oh, so we have just one more thing, and then
Whew.
we're done. Woo. It feels like a job rather than fun when I say it like that. I'm sorry. So, it has just been revealed today of the Blue Beetle casting. And as soon as I read that one person's name, I'm like, yes, let's go. I'm
Oh
super
yeah?
hyped. Yes, I'm so hyped. I'm going to share it right now. It's like an article. I feel so bad because I'm like, oh, I know that person, and then I'm like, I don't know everybody else. But I'm glad they showed. What the heck? Get out of here. I'm glad they showed like what movies and shows they worked on. So here we go. Wow. Want to keep continue
Pop
reading?
up.
Funny enough, if I'm on my phone, this did not show up.
Well, yeah, because it's popping up on your desktop.
That matters.
Yeah.
So hold on. Do 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 do.
George Lopez's interesting casting.
Yes, apparently he is going to be the uncle. Sorry, I didn't mean to pause there.
No problem.
So I'm like really happy. I'm like he's old enough to be like that uncle guy.
Yeah, the other funny thing is going to be people everywhere having to learn to pronounce the kid from Cobra Kai's name. Is it Holo? Is that how you pronounce his first name?
I don't ask me. I'm not that Spanish.
Okay, because it's like it's there's a
It
sound before the
can,
sound. Holo.
but it's like it can be sometimes be pronounced with a ch.
Cholo? Okay.
Yeah, sometimes. I think it depends on the name. I know we have
And
a
then
lot. I have a lot of Spanish and like Latin people on here, so sometimes they'll correct me.
yeah, I'm gonna have to learn because then it's Meridueña. It's not Nat, it's Nya, because it's got the accent on the end. Is that right?
Maridueña.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
can say that.
you could say that. There you go. But yeah,
Yay.
it looks like it's gonna be I'm stoked for this movie. I just am. It's they're probably gonna do it right and hopefully it will be fun. Is this a movie or is this a streaming show?
They have said that it is a movie.
Okay. I mean, it could still be a streaming movie, but probably not.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, it's a
Cool. Cool.
streaming
Cool. Cool.
movie.
Yes. Wow.
The sister is uh the lady from oh no. Wait. Who is this person who's playing the sister? Milagros. This is not a Belissa Escobedo. Escobedo. Okay. Man, they've done a lot of announcements on this movie.
Yes, and I'm like, I'm so angry that I can't be able to freaking see anything or more
Because there's
like
a
show
pop-up on
people
it.
everything. Yes, but I also want pictures. I need pictures to help me.
It's pronounced Cholo? See, I'm gonna have to ask my friend in Mexico to teach me how to pronounce it.
Did somebody say it was Cholo?
Yeah. Because I've heard that X pronounced a bunch of different ways,
Yes.
which is why Latin X makes actual Latin people go crazy because you never put it on the end of a word. You
La
can't.
chick.
Yeah, yeah, like what? What is that? La chinch. Like what? I actually saw somebody put an e on the end of Latin, and to make it gender neutral, and I'm like, okay, that's catching on. At least that kind of makes sense.
Okay, there we go. I found one.
You found one? Okay.
I'm sorry that took so long. Apparently, it my ad blocker is also a problem.
Oh, that's the same article I had up.
Oh gosh, dang it! Yes, they're adding a lot of family members. They're going to be adding a whole family, and so we have George Lopez that's added on. We have this girl that's added on, and then oh shoot, more, but she's gone. um, yeah, this is probably yep, Milagros. This is the one you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I really like that first article because I'm like, okay, so
Yeah,
it's
it was better.
Predator, you know. Uh,
I think I actually shut that one down because of the pop-ups.
okay, here we go. Adriana Bazada from Babel, which I've heard of, never seen. Damien Alcazar from Narcos. We have Elpidia Carrillo from Predator, and the aforementioned Lopez, which George Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're going to be part of the Reyes family, with Barasa playing Nana, Alcazar as Alberto, Rio as Roquillo, and then George Lopez stepping in as Uncle Rudy. And then, what's it called? The new cast members join Belisa, Harvey, and Mariduina, of course. Woo!
I'm stoked for this. I hope it's good.
I think I did. Can anybody on the chat remind me if this is? Wait, you said it's a streaming movie, right?
I have no idea. They say it's going to be a movie, but it'll probably be theatrical
I want it to
because
be
they want their money back.
because I believe it was theatrical and then it went to streaming.
Oh yeah? Let me
Yeah, it's rather that or the other way around.
let
And
me
I'm like, I
consult
just don't make
Google.
streaming, please.
See, I kind of like the streaming movies because they don't have to make as many compromises. Okay, it is coming to theaters. Cool. They don't have to make as many compromises in a streaming movie as they do when they're doing a theatrical release, because you don't have to um you don't have to appeal to places like China if it's just a streaming movie, you know?
Woo,
Yeah,
let's go.
2023.
It's gonna
And
be my year.
you don't have to worry about people who are going to freak out about brown people. It's like, just watch it, because there's some tensions with European Spain and New World Latin people as well. So, I hope they will just make a movie that's right for the character and not worry about the international box office. That's one of the worst things I think happened to films, is the insistence that the international box office be this priority. Um, I don't think Western film companies should pander to China. I just don't, for so many reasons.
Joker, the movie in 2019, showed that you don't have to, especially since it made like a billion or
Yeah.
something like that. But I do wonder, like, how many people liked it because they actually liked it, or did it to own the SJWs, as they said so many times. They're like, I watched it 15 times to own the SJWs, and I'm like, okay,
I actually thought the Joker movie was wonderful, and that was one
I
I
didn't
wasn't
like it.
really that was one I wasn't super preparing to like, but I enjoyed Taxi Driver.
I only saw a little bit of it. I have to finish the movie.
Right. I just thought it was a contained idea that told me a story that was intentional. That's all I need anymore.
That's all we all need anymore.
Yeah. Is anybody stoked for Flashpoint? I'm so not. Black Adam, yes.
No.
I don't. I no. Okay, not just me. And I'm bummed because a Flash movie could be so good, but I don't think it's going to be good. I
I'm
know I'm doing the
more hyped
thing.
for Batgirl, and that's probably a problem if I'm not hyped up for a freaking Flash movie.
Yeah. Are you
Even
hyped for?
though I like Wally West, not Barry Allen.
Well, it is Barry Allen, isn't it? I've
Yeah, I
lost
just
track.
don't like how Barry Allen is portrayed.
I don't like the guy they cast. I don't think
Ezra
he's a
Miller,
yeah,
yeah,
I don't think he's a good Barry. He's good in other things I've seen. I just don't think he's
yeah.
a good Barry Allen.
Secret Perks of Being a
Yeah.
Wallflower was so good.
Yeah, like he's good in other things. I just don't think that he's good. He's not Barry Allen. He's got too much of an edge, you
Which is
know?
why people are like they're adding a Wally West character into the Barry Allen character, which is what they do in media a lot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm
Well, I
just
mean
like,
they did
eh,
that on the Flash TV show. They got everybody in there,
yeah.
you know?
But not the
Um
wall. Apparently, not the Wally West everybody wanted. They got the black
no.
one.
They grew on
Wallace.
me. They gave Iris nothing to do for massive parts of that show, but they grew on me. See,
Until like
there's
the 6 or 7 season or something like that.
yeah, well it kept its steam, pardon the pun, longer than Arrow did. Not saying
I
much.
stopped watching probably like the 3rd or 4th season because I'm like,
Flash?
okay, at the yeah, that, and at least Arrow is a different every season, but for the Flash for like multiple different seasons, at the very end, run Barry, run, and I'm like,
I I
walk Barry,
should
walk, please.
I should have stopped watching season 3. I think that was when it started to falter.
My
Are
God.
you looking forward to Aquaman too?
Um, just because I'm now on this Amber Heard craze, probably not.
See, I didn't like the first movie
I didn't
overall.
like the first one either.
Okay, like it wasn't just her, but I think she's horribly miscast. All the drama and everything aside, I just she's not good as Mara. Like
I didn't like what they wanted to do with Mara, and then the other choices. I just found myself almost zoning out, especially like we're in the very beautiful place, Italy, bruh. I
yeah,
did laugh at the toilet part though.
yeah. I just didn't I thought she didn't sell the suddenly she's Belle from Beauty and the Beast moment. Oh my god, I've never seen these things before. This is amazing. She didn't
Oh, fish
sell
out of
it.
water.
Literally fish out of water.
I couldn't even tell. To me, she acted too normal.
Yeah, she just seemed above it all. And didn't I didn't think they had great chemistry. And I mean, God, Mara's been done so dirty in the comics so often
Yeah.
that they cast her they cast her completely for look.
Yes.
And I can't stand it when they do that with somebody, especially now that you can practically like they put Luke Skywalker's face on somebody in in Mandalorian. If they can do that, you can muck with someone to get the best performance. I
Mhm.
would and that awful wig they put on her, you can't make and it's and the digital water, there was so much of it. I think Momoa is fun as a particular um is he even really yeah, I guess he's Arthur Curry, but he's
Yeah,
certainly not
they called him Arthur.
yeah, he's certainly not a canon Aquaman, to put it
Mm,
very likely. And I think it's funny,
yeah.
nobody complained about race bending Aquaman.
It was very, very little. It was like the people who said, "Oh, I'm going to complain about this race swap," and then another person's like, "But did you complain about Aquaman though?" And then they're like, "I did it. I thought he was white."
Yeah, it's even with all the Polynesian freaking tattoos all over him. They thought he was white. Like And the poor Jason Momoa, that that's very Canadian. After Game of Thrones, people actually believed he was Khal Drogo and he was just some dumb brute, and so he couldn't get work. And so
Aw.
I'm happy they cast him as Aquaman, but there's an example of that.
Liana?
Oh, Momo unplugged my headphones.
Oh.
Am I
Woo!
back now?
Yeah.
Okay. I
I
was
got so
saying
scared.
I guess Momo did not want me smack talking The Rock because
Oh.
people don't tend to complain when Dwayne Johnson plays somebody, and he's mixed race Polynesian. Oh, he did it again.
Oops, he
Oh,
did it again.
yeah. Am I? Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. So it just didn't recognize something. I don't know what. I'll find out what he broke later. Thanks, Momo.
You're
Should we be
welcome,
talking
Liana.
about cats instead of fish people?
Yeah, but cats like fish.
It's funny, there's been more controversy about the whole fish fucker thing in Peacemaker.
But it's been a joke for years.
Yeah, I think it's funny that people take that and apparently they almost didn't ask him because they thought he'd be mad. Like, why would he be mad about that?
He's not the character. He's not Arthur. He's not an actual person who freaking lives underwater.
Well,
He
yeah,
doesn't talk to fish.
he's also got a pretty decent sense of humor. Apparently there was a time a while back where he um was potentially kind of drug affected in terms of personality, like steroids and stuff. But apparently he's a super chill guy now. So I don't know
Oh wow.
why. It's so weird, if with actors, it's like apparently they didn't think Dave Bautista would want to do the voices in the Marvel What If cartoon series. Like,
But that's money.
but it's also he is Drax. Let him voice Drax. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't ask. Like, just ask.
Are they too? They were like, oh, we're gonna be. It's gonna be too offensive,
I
or
I
something
don't
like that.
I don't know what they think because I mean, a lot of the performances in that show were pretty clearly rushed anyway. I mean, at least Batista would probably have taken it super seriously because he takes everything super seriously.
I watched him in wrestling.
Was he Oh yeah, he was a wrestler for a while.
Mm-hmm. I feel so old just saying that.
But he was a UFC guy too, wasn't he?
Was he?
I don't know.
I only know him from WWE.
I thought he was an MMA guy. Am I confusing him with somebody else?
Maybe. I've only known him, Dave Batista, as a wrestler my whole life.
Because some of them went back and forth, right?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't follow MMA. I don't like real violence.
Me
I only
neither.
like fake violence. Yeah, he was both. Okay, that's what I thought.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think mixed martial. I think UFC is crazy. I just think it's crazy. Like, why would people do that? Why? Why? It's
Dave
scary.
Batista had hair?
Oh, he looked really weird with hair. He looks super weird. He's one of those people who suits having no hair.
Yes, I agree. I also talked about this in the new Green Lantern review we're gonna be having on Monday.
Uh, what uh, what Green Lantern? The
The
old
Ryan
school right?
Reynolds.
Oh Lord.
There's the villain named Hector who's bald, but he has hair coming out on the bottom of his scalp and it's really long and I'm like, that looks pretty gross. Just shave it off and you'll be fine.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah,
Okay, cool.
he did do one martial arts event. Okay. So I didn't imagine that.
Oh, just one?
Yeah, apparently. I don't I think he probably did one and went, this is insane. But uh I'm a more for live action creator. I don't know. I don't think he maybe. I
Oh,
don't
sorry.
know.
We were supposed to wrap up.
Were we supposed to wrap up?
I think so. I don't know anymore. But I think we're going to
People
wrap up for now.
people have been talking about the God of War show, and we've just been sort of missing it over
God
and
of
over and over again.
God of War.
I
Oh,
think because
Kratos.
I kind of don't want to even think about what they do with that. Some
I don't want
things
to think
like,
about it either. I'm not that invested in the games and such.
see, I would prefer they did something in the universe but left Kratos alone.
But
Like,
you got to get the money from the name.
but then it's just a show about Greek or Norse myth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In unless they do like an Atreus series, but then that's a spoiler. I guess they could do a prequel of Kratos' time in the military, but then he's not the ghost of Sparta. Like,
Just do Heavenly Sword instead.
see, I would rather watch a Heavenly Sword series because there's so much less story made, and I thought that game got robbed.
I need to get the game because I had so much fun with the demo.
Yeah, that was the game that soured me on other games journalists. I swear to God, that game got savaged when it came out. And it was, oh, it's very short. It's like they couldn't fit any more game physically on that disc. So it couldn't have been any longer at that graphics fidelity. And what that game did, it did really well. It had a ton of replay value. The world was fascinating. The characters were good. And the games press just
Whoops.
shit all. Oh, no, go ahead, plug. That's all good.
No, no, I was gonna do something and I accidentally clicked on it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
But
but by the way, this is Leanna's
thank
coffee that
you.
is pinned
Thank you.
for her channel. It should be pinned up there so you can donate to her whenever you want.
Thank you. But yeah, that
I
was the
realize you don't
point.
put in your about me page, just in your descriptions on your
I
videos.
should. I am not good at self-promotion. But yeah, I just thought, and then years later, after the game didn't get a sequel and Ninja Theory had to move on to other things,
Dead or alive.
the same games press that uh shit all over it was like, that game was okay. It's like you gave it like a 6, buddy, and now you're saying it was okay. It was one of those games where people were too hard on it and then memory hold the fact that they were too hard on it. And these are the same jerks going, treat women better, support female characters. And I'm like, you do not walk the walk, assholes. You just talk the talk. And
I could have swore
so
that game had a 9 rating, 9 out of 10.
no,
No?
not when it originally came out. People were brutal on it. It was this time where the press kept saying too short on it was safe to dunk on PS3 anything at the time because everybody's like, oh, Xbox 360 is better. It had a year head start, right? So it had this much larger install base at the time. And yes, I did know there was a 2014 movie. And Sony tends to not have a ton of games at launch for their systems. They don't market the same way Xbox does. And so it was cool to shit on PlayStation. Now, by the end of that cycle, it was pretty much neck and neck. Sony actually shipped slightly more PS3s than Xbox 360s, but the perception was that it was the Xbox 360 generation. And so they just crapped on any PS3 exclusive they possibly could until I think God of War. And then that was just so over the top. Nobody could really complain about anything, but some people complained about the boobs, which I will stand by. I defend the boobs in God of War. I mean,
And we have female counterparts. Liana? Oh no!
yeah. Oh, there goes my stupid mic again. Okay. Cat problems. Am I back?
Yes.
Okay, good. Oh, okay. It was the Wii Gen. Actually, you know what? In terms of sales, it was the Wii Gen. I just added you a Taku Cat. And there it goes again. Momo's just sitting. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Momo's just sitting here next to the USB hub. He's totally cacked. Like, yep, it had it coming.
I just love Momo so much.
Okay, I'll. Can I move my camera and show Momo? I'll show Momo. There we go. Yeah, Momo, I'm gonna show you. This is revenge for knocking my microphone off multiple times. Here we go.
Whoops.
Here's Momo.
There we go.
Momo is
Oh, I love Momo.
Here's Momo. He's chilling, and you see my USB hub is right next to him, and he's been unplugging my mic
I
over and
think it's
over
because
and
it's
over again.
warm.
I think it's because he's like, this is the thing that's making mom ignore me. Unplug, right, Momo? Yeah, you notice he's like,
The Harley Quinn behind him is very accurate.
that's a custom somebody did for me.
Aww.
She made a Joker brony. It was an in joke. It's rather I think that was Leonard Kirk. Yeah. But yeah, she made a little Joker brony, which I like. All right. There you go. That's a little seasick. But there was Momo.
Whoops. There we go.
Now I've got to reset my camera, but that's okay. Momo is always worth it. Right, Momo? He's like, you put me on camera, didn't you? Yes, buddy. All right. There we go. Oh, are you allergic to dogs? Sorry,
Who?
cats, Loki?
Me?
No,
What?
the chat says cats make my eyes swell up. Yeah, Momo has lost some weight. We were worried about it at first, but he had a bunch of really bad teeth. So those needed to be extracted, but fortunately he hasn't put the weight back on, so we're just going with it.
Play by ear.
Yeah, it's also coming on spring, so he's been shedding a ton, so he looks extra svelte right now. But yeah, we were a little worried when he started losing a ton of weight. Yeah, what? Oh, okay. See, dogs to me, it's not the dogs I'm allergic to, it's the stuff they bring in from outside. Oh,
Pollen.
18-year-old cat. I love super old cats. That's amazing. Well, pollen and trees, and it's really great when you go in for allergy shots and the doctor starts reading off all the things that are in the allergy shot and they run out of breath before they get to the end. Those are my allergy shots. It's like every type of tree, every kind of grass, and then I do ragweed later in the summer. It's awesome. I get needles shoved in my arm every week.
Don't you love it?
You know, you don't eat it. The problem is getting up and going to the doctor. That's the part I hate, going and parking and going in and sitting there. The needles themselves is just kind of no big deal. You know, it's funny because I used to have a horrible fear of needles. And now it's just like, whatever, do it. Because I've had so many shoved in me over the years.
Facts. Funny enough, it doesn't matter how old your cat is. I've had dogs and cats 20 years. They didn't have to take out their teeth, and that's because they were taken pretty good care of. You know, some will have it taken out at age 2 because their teeth is so bad. You
Yeah,
know.
there's a genetic component as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Which a lot of
Momo.
people don't freaking say, and I'm like, it matters.
Yeah, because I mean, my old cat Delilah, she was a community cat, but her teeth were great. Momo was a community cat. Okay, he even knows that now. We don't say the F word around Momo. He's very posh. But
Feral.
yeah, Momo's teeth were terrible from the time we got him. He needed extractions right when we got him, and some cats just have lousy teeth. I mean, my cat Binky, we nicknamed him Toothless because he was such a nasty
Oh.
little, like, How to Train Your Dragon, like most dangerous night fury. And you know, by the time he passed, he had almost no teeth. Didn't stop him. He had the absorptions, you know, and for whatever reason, their mouth just decides to re-eat their teeth.
Yes.
Yeah. No, the cats just kind of compensate. I mean, they either swallow the food whole or you put them on wet food.
Same thing with dogs. I don't think
Yeah.
they've made false teeth or implants yet. Plus, just yeah, like Liana said, you just put them on soft food, wet food. You can put them on refrigerated raw food because
Hmm.
they're softer, or just freeze dried kibble as well because it's just softer than regular kibble and baked at a much lower temperature.
Yeah, and a lot of them just chewing is just a fun thing. Like some of them like to crack, but a lot of them just eat the food whole anyway. That See, Momo sleeps on my head sometimes.
My dog will sleep on my back.
Oh, that
She'll jump
hurts.
on my back and then sleep on it, and I'm like, thanks so much. That didn't hurt at all. But
See,
if I'm
Scout.
on my if I'm sleeping on my back, then that's where she jumps on. That hurts.
Yeah, yeah, because that puts pressure on your back, right? That you'll wake up kind of contorted thanks to that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the pain.
Yeah, yeah. The cartoon and comics said it's yeah. It,
Yes,
that's
correct.
what the couple of the vets said because I was like, why are some of these cats' teeth so bad? And they said it's mostly genetics,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we have so many, and some of them are great, and every so often we get one, and it's just every 3-4 years they need extractions. No matter what you do, you can do the water additives, you can do the toothbrushing. That helps the tartar and stuff. But if they're going to absorb, they're going to. There's not much you can
I
do.
think that's why a lot of people just go to raw food because it's already mostly soft and mostly moisture, and apparently the bones in it or whatever help scrape off
Hmm.
plaque.
Yeah, raw food, you just have to be careful not leaving it out.
Yeah. That's like people do raw food so wrong, and I'm like, why would you do that? Did you wash your hands? Why did you wash your hands? Now you got salmonella, and you're blaming the food.
Well, that's the thing. You have to handle raw food like you would raw human meat, and a lot of people don't.
And it's not even that, but it's kibble as well. People think you don't get salmonella with kibble, and I'm like, listen,
Oh, geez.
400 like salmonella cases with just dog and cat kibble every year. 400.
Really?
Yeah, and for raw food, it's like 20 or less a year.
That's
And
interesting.
it's funny enough, it's because dogs and cats, they have salmonella inside their bodies
Yes.
already.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just like, how am I learning this from like nutritionists, but your vet doesn't tell you? And then I'm like, well, have you heard of probiotics? And they're like, what are probiotics? And you're like,
Momo's on those. Momo's on two different kinds of probiotics because he has
ugh, two
IBS.
different kinds. I have
Yeah,
to resupply probiotics for my dog.
yeah. My kitties are spoiled because he has IBS, and so just the
Same
one. I
twinsies.
don't. Yeah, I don't know why, but he loves the 40 Flora, the Purina brand. But
Yeah.
the Proviable is, man, we should be getting sponsors for this now. We should
So
we should do a pet
expensive.
podcast. Uh, but the Proviable seems to do better for him, but he loves the 40 Flora. So we didn't have the heart to cut him off the one he really likes
Oh.
because the other one isn't as tasty, but I don't know what it is, but we call it his sprinkles. And he'll sit there looking at us until we take the package and like sprinkle it on his food. He freaking
I
loves
think it's
that
because
stuff.
the Fortiflora, if I remember correctly, working at a vet
Mhm.
before, there's some sort of protein in there, and I don't remember what it is.
Oh,
And
okay.
then for the other ones, they're mostly just starch.
That that tracks with the way it smells. There's a slight yeasty smell with the Proviable.
Yes. We advise cat rice cooked is easier and cheaper. Yeah, but if you're only feeding your cat cooked rice, then your cat is having a lot of nutrition deficiencies. Like, how are you going to do the copper, the magnesium,
The taurine.
the taurine, which is
Yeah.
incredibly important?
Yeah.
And vets are
Yeah.
telling me, "Oh, it's from rice," and I'm like, "No, it's not. It's from meat. Stop lying to your customers, please."
Yeah,
All right,
it's
bye, Loki.
bye Loki. Sorry, my dog. My dog gets so confused because my dog is named Loki. Uh, yeah, that's why dogs can eat cat food and cats can't live off dog food because
Actually,
there's
because of the whole DCM thing going on, it's recommended that your dog does not eat the cat food now.
oh, but you don't let dogs eat cat food because it makes them stink. Never mind. Oh God, it's awful. That's like mustard gas. Give the dog
It
cat food,
is.
put them in a war zone, everybody will be unconscious in like
Peace treaty.
5 seconds. Yeah, oh, it smells because the higher protein count. Oh, bad scene. I mean, dogs love cat food,
Yeah,
but
because
it's
like
not
they
good
put
for
more
them.
meat and love into it. Because
Yeah,
they're just so picky.
yeah, but it's not good for them. It's just they
Wait,
can
no,
have it.
it's pet shop rice prepared has all the vitamins. I have no idea what that means. I work at a pet shop. Are you saying it's like a chicken and rice diet, a lamb and rice diet, that kind
I,
of
I
thing,
think
which
so.
already has the vitamins and minerals like from the middle to the bottom?
I think so. It's just
I
one
think
of
so too.
those marketing deals. Oh, there's a Japanese dish called cat rice, but it's
Oh,
actually just food. It's not actually cat food.
yeah, we have a lot of those at my store. Bye, Shelby. Like it's like literally human grade,
Mhm.
like shredded meat in a can, and they're like, "You can eat it too." And I'm like, "Okay." So I bought one, and I was
Did you
hungry, and
did
so
you
I
try
ate
it?
it.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yes.
taste that great, does it?
No, it tasted great. It's
Really?
just shredded beef with peas and carrots.
But there's no seasoning to it.
After IBS, no seasoning for me. I'm used to no seasoning now.
Oh, I'd lose it if I couldn't have
I have
seasoning.
steak with no seasoning, not even
Oh,
salt.
I couldn't. I'm a hot sauce person. That's it. That's the one thing. Okay, I've cut down on the hot with the hot sauce, but no, I can't completely give off hot sauce. Um,
I cannot
Wine
have
made
hot
from
sauce. I would
catnip.
die.
I don't think I'd touch that. I don't know what it would do to me. I got to be really careful with anything that's grass based again because allergies. Like that's one of the crappy things when they legalized weed up here. I am so allergic. Like
Oh my gosh, I'm so
so allergic.
sorry.
It's no more concerts. I just cannot go. There's always purple haze. It it and I love live music, but the weed is just even if you ask people not to smoke it, they do it outside afterwards, and then it's like, "Okay, bye-bye, everything's spinning." I
How
don't
about Silvervine? Are you fine with Silvervine? I mean, it's more like a twig.
Silvervine? I do not know. I
Silvervine
can't
is an alternative to catnip. If your cat doesn't react well to catnip or not as much, you can use Silvervine as an alternative.
because we actually have a few that don't. They'll eat basil plants and dill
Ooh.
plants, but catnip, half of them are just like, "Nah, next." They just really don't care. No, I'm the one that's like, well, Link has allergies too, but and Momo has allergies too, but yeah, it's frustrating the allergies because people like, oh, you just don't like it. It's like, no, seriously, man, it's bad. And do you get that people don't believe you have the issues you have and they like try to punk you?
All the time.
Ugh, why do people do that?
Because I don't know. I literally tried explaining my illness to my uncle the other day, and he was like, "No, you're not tired. You're not fatigued. You're just lazy." And I'm like,
Oh,
"What? No, I can be lazy, but it's not lazy. I'm
yeah,
just
there's a
really
there's a
tired."
There's a difference between tired and waking up feeling like you've been hit by a bus.
Oh my gosh, especially in the shower makes you feel worse. Makes me feel worse for some reason.
The heat,
I don't know if it's the heat, but it feels heavier.
that's interesting. Because some people, hot showers are great. Other people, I've heard that it makes them feel worse. because
I
of
don't.
the
If it makes me feel worse, I can't
inflammation.
stop that because I just love hot water so much, and I know it's bad for my skin.
Yeah, but it's also if you've got any sort of inflammatory condition, um,
Oh,
yeah, it can
I
be,
know. My skin
yeah.
is so sensitive.
But quite frankly, as long as I mean, have you tried like an olive oil soap or something like that? I find those help a lot.
Did you say olive oil soup?
Olive oil soap. Sorry, that was
Oh,
soap with the Canadian accent. Soup, out and about.
oh,
You're like halfway to
I've been
Scottish.
using
We can't
beef
help it.
tallow. Beef tallow soap. I
Oh,
know.
okay. It's the same thing. It's a fat-based thing.
Yeah, I love fat.
Uh, the coconut oil soaps I find are decent too. For me, quite
I don't
frankly,
like the
though,
smell.
this is gonna sound really hick, but the best thing that ever happened to my skin is moving to a house on a well, getting off city water.
Ooh. No, I
It
believe
was
that. Do you know what they
because
do with our water, man?
well, yeah, I mean, we need a reverse osmosis filter on our drinking water because well water, right? But yeah, in terms of showering and stuff like that, it's way better for your skin because of the
Hmm.
none of the chlorine or the treatments or the sulfurs or anything like that made a huge difference, and it was completely by accident.
Nice. We love good accidents. Chronic fatigue syndrome is a real thing. It is in fact
That's
a real
real.
thing.
Yeah.
Whether I have that or not, no idea. I just know that the IBS I have already gives me fatigue, and I feel like
Oh
the fatigue
yeah.
is getting worse every day,
Well,
or at least every year.
that compromises your vagus nerve, which affects your
Yes.
heart, it affects your lungs, it affects all that stuff. So yeah,
Is that
that's
why I'm more prone to palpitations now? Just by
probably.
sleeping? Gosh dang. I
Yeah,
hate it.
probably. Yeah,
Uh,
it's vagus nerve problems are fun. I had a flare up a few weeks back and it had been a while, so I forgot what it was. And so I didn't take proper care of it and it got
oh no.
real bad for I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm dying. Yeah, because the tunnel vision is real special, right? And then
Yeah.
you don't know whether you're gonna pass out or throw up or one after the other. And it always happens in the winter because it's the go to hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, and so it's, dilation, constriction, body goes, "Nope, you're going down." It's fun times. Fun times, right, Momo? Right. Alrighty. This turned into a completely different type of podcast. And, maybe we should do pet stuff in future. Have the Momo cam and talk about pets. And I think Bianca just stepped away for a bit. We're gonna wrap up soon when Bianca comes back. I'm just filling time right now. Hello, chat. This is what we call stretching, which is radio term for stalling. And it's something you have to get super good at when you do live television. I can tell stories about live television if Bianca doesn't come back soon. And nobody's making comments to bail me out. People just want to see me floundering. I'm starting to sound like Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn because it's my losing my will to live voice. And waiting. Right, Momo? Yeah, you told me this would happen, Momo. Yeah. You said there'd be consequences. Maybe we should show Momo again. I don't know. Okay, Hominus bailed me out with a comment. Woo! Okay, there we go. Woohoo! Waiting, waiting, waiting. Here we go. Yes. Yes to Momo Cam. Okay, more Momo Cam. All right. So we're gonna okay. Open it up. More Momo Cam. Here you go. Here's Momo. Hey Momo. You're real thrilled by this. Yes, you are. As you can see, he's trying to sleep on my laptop. And so I put a thing on it so he can't sleep on my laptop. And that's why he's kind of mad. He's also kind of mad that he doesn't get snuggles. Right, Momo? Because this is when we normally watch a movie. Because it's Shabbos. Yeah. 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 Cleaning himself. He's like, I'm just going to pretend you're not sticking. Yeah. Hi, Momo. There we are. Hey, baby. Yeah. Good boy. Yeah. Sometimes people say I'm a boring character underwater furry. That was actually a really interesting conversation that ensued from that though. I'm glad I brought that up. I was sure I was going to take so much crap. I'll see everything is cuz they're warm, Hominus. Everything is pre-booked up here. I got to go for blood work again too. Everything's pre-booked here, so and you still wait. Even though you book an appointment, you still wait. I wonder if that's gonna end now that all the COVID restrictions are being lifted. Probably not, because healthcare plays. Okay, Bianca's back. I can stop
I'm so
stalling now.
sorry.
No problem. I was just Momo camming to fill time.
Oh,
Right,
Momo Cam.
Momo? Yeah, Momo
When is
cam.
Momo gonna get an OnlyFans?
Can you do non-human OnlyFans?
Yes, you can.
Look at
I'm
his
pretty sure
face. He's
you
like,
can.
"What?" It's funny. I used to do a lot more cat content, and then people started being really mean about um saying nasty things about my pets, and I can take it more for myself, but when people started insulting my animals, I'm like, "No, I can't do this anymore."
Did they say,
Like,
"Oh my gosh, your cat looks like it has a mat. You obviously do not know how to take care of your animal."
no, it was just this is obnoxious. I can't stand this. Oh my god, I put you on block. Like I was
It's a
finding out all
cat.
these. That's the thing, like, if you don't like cat videos on the internet, I'm fairly sure you have no soul, and it's funny because you know this, Bianca, I tend to side with the villains in a lot of things, but then, someone says, "Oh my god, I hate it when you post things about your cat." I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking we can't be friends anymore. One person apologized for being a jerk about it, and I'm glad because I actually really liked him and didn't want to stop being friends with him. But oh my god, it's amazing the number of people who think that it's okay to insult an adorable little furry critter.
It is against the law.
Well, no, unfortunately, it's not. But right, Momo? Right. Yes, Momo, snuggles. Okay, we're gonna wrap up soon, right, Momo? You may hear Momo purring soon because now he's hugging. Or he may. Momo, I was doing a meeting at a corporate contract I had this week, and Momo knocked my headphones clear off my head and then went behind me and threw up on the floor while I'm talking to this like major corporate client, try to like do work and seem all professional. It was just this huge crash. And then you hear the cat puking, and I rapidly muted.
Dang it, Momo. She's trying to look
the
professional.
The nice thing is people are kind of cool about it because everybody's working from home. But it was still, oh, I have a high embarrassment threshold, and even that was like, oh man,
I'm
right,
so
Momo?
sorry.
Right, it's okay. Yes, cat's better. All right, so we gonna wrap up.
We gonna wrap up.
All right, should we do the deets again? The promo.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Need a
Hold on.
Momo.
Wait, what am I doing? Ah!
Yeah. Oh, there goes the purse. Yeah. Now we're purring.
What was that you said, Liana?
Momo's purring now. We got the
No,
lawnmower going.
what you said before.
Oh, showing the deets. Do the self promotion. There we go. There we
There we
go.
go. So
PayPal.
here is my PayPal if you want to give me a tip and not in written form, but in currency form. And then we have Liana's new Ko-fi.
Coffee. Donating
Woo!
Leanna Care sessions to people. That service is going really well. I
I'm really happy it is.
I super look forward to Wednesdays now because everybody's so interesting. It's to find out interesting things about individual people's lives. It's kind of restoring my faith in humanity. At the same time, I mean, these people have been treated super shitty by life, but they're such cool people and they're such nice people.
I
And
need a care session.
you know what? We should do one. Let's talk. We'll hook you up. We'll hook you up.
I can't talk though. I feel it's so embarrassing.
It's
It would
interesting
just mostly
because
be IBS problems, I guess.
well, it's interesting because some clients do have autism, and that first session is just getting over that barrier. And then afterwards it's fine. It's just that first one. the sort of permission to talk. And I mean, that's part of it. Some people just want to practice conversations because, you know, they're neuroatypical and just want the safe space, and they shouldn't have to pay hundreds of dollars an hour for that. It's, you know, it's been pretty cool. I've been learning a lot about people, and a lot about like anime and Japanese video games. I'm gonna have to play Danganronpa now. A client sold me on it.
Oh, Danganronpa is so good.
Oh
I have
yeah,
not
yeah,
played it, but I know the gameplay.
yeah. He's been talking about it. It's like, this sounds completely up my alley. Like, it sounds like absolutely a game I would love. So I was like, don't tell me anything, don't spoil, because it's mysteries, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So okay. So Roberts seems to be kind of challenging us, but we're not going to take the bait. We're we're going to let Robert keep his record.
Don't
Oh,
worry, Robert.
Tristan's voting for Danganronpa too.
Yeah, I believe I heard her talk about it one time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm like, oh, you like Danganronpa? She's like, have you seen it? And I'm like, no. I just know of it, and I know the whole premise and everything. I'm
I mean,
sorry.
people have not steered me wrong with these recommendations, because Senran Kagura and Yakuza were both series I ended up really, really liking. And you would never have convinced me I'd enjoy Senran Kagura games, but I ended up loving them.
Oh wait, is that
It's,
the one where the clothes come off?
yeah, it's the one where it's a, you know, a high school of secret ninjas with the biggest boobs on the planet, but you end up getting into the characters, and every game is different, and like, one's a rhythm game, and the combat's actually
A rhythm
pretty
game.
good. Yeah. What is it? Senran Kagura Bon Appetit is it's got rhythm game components, and it just, I'm like, this is weird and goofy, but Yakuza I absolutely fell in love with, and that was another game, like, Japanese organized crime, not my thing, but no, that is not the beauty of Yakuza. It's just so weird and random.
I realize I don't have a lot of Japanese games besides like whether dating sims or like games from an anime, some, not all. And then finally got Sengoku Basara.
Oh,
When's the
what?
next game coming out?
Near Automata was another recommendation that I ended. It took me a long time to like that game, but by the end, I was invested.
I feel so weird. It's like my because I saw the gameplay of the first one, and it's like it doesn't feel like a Japanese game to me, and I don't know why.
Well, I guess that's Yoko Taro, right? Kind of,
Uh,
kind of in there. It's like Kojima. You know, it's like there's Studio Ghibli, and then there's everybody else. There's certain there's certain Japanese game developers where they are just their own thing. You can't really put them anywhere. So it's not like super, super Japanese. Though at this point, I think the Japanese market is so diverse now that you can't just say it's Japanese. There there are different
where's my
subsets.
Japanese Hispanic Latino game, huh? Huh? Where?
It's actually kind of funny that those are all components of the Song of Sparkle Muffin game. Because we were like,
Yay!
we just want to put characters that we want to see in a game. So yeah. All
I'm
right.
almost done, Robert. I have like less than 10 episodes to go.
Cool. Okay, wrapping. We're saying bye for real now, or we'll just be
Yes, for
talking because we
reals.
like each other. Okay, everybody. Bye. We're saying bye.
Bye. Maybe make sure
Bye.
you like and subscribe, hit that bell notification because I know a lot of you are not coming in. I had to remind my aunt to do that. I got to teach her how. I
Sometimes
love
Twitch
her.
is slow off that too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so remember to do the same to Liana to look at her Wellness Wednesdays and all of her content. She's pretty awesome possum. And have a nice day, everybody. Bye.